Hey everybody, Chris with Quilter Labs here, and today we're actually going to work through something, well, as I like to say, when you pull out the Kiesel, things are about to get serious. So I had a request from JK Kim of South Korea, who said to me, Chris, hey buddy, I like your videos and everything, but can you seriously get serious and do a version of John Petrucci, Pull Me Under? So he actually sent me, here's a little clip here, the Mesa Boogie video where he shows the Mark IV, I believe it was the Mark IV, and talks a little bit about how he actually gets his tones. So we get a little bit of John Petrucci's tone philosophy and get a little bit of an understanding for exactly how he creates the tone that he creates. So again, for today, I'm going to use the this dual humbucker Kiesel, fantastic guitar. Shout out to the guys at Kiesel. Thank you so much. But let's see if we can do that with an Elevate. So there is today's challenge. Okay, so what do we do every time? We say new copy preset. That's right, and we want a new preset. And this time I'm just going to call it JP for good old John Petrucci out there. You know, I'm a big fan of Dream Theater. Actually, I've seen him in concert many times, and you know, what an incredible band, what an incredible talent that every last one of the guys in that band has. Let's kick off by starting on that preset. So if you recall the beginning, it goes really quiet here, something like that. So I think that's it. Okay. So let's turn that into something that feels a little bit bigger, a little bit warmer. It's got some of that chorus that you hear in the original song. So like always, I said, let's start with the amplifier. In this case, we want a clean amp. So we're just going to choose warm, clean. Remember that these things here I'm zipping through are actually what we call modes. And modes are a collection of parameters. So although you see warm, clean here, it's actually changing all the sub parameters underneath. So you can go through and adjust and edit parameters in more depth, but this gives us a quick way to kind of get there. So let's see what effect that has. I mean, it sounds warm and clean to me. Cab, let's see what modes we've got here. Compact, punchy, mid, forward. Focused is where we always start at. Airy, I like that. That's not bad. I'm going to kick up my compressor a little bit. Let's shoot for medium. Yeah, not bad. Okay. Pre-EQ, we'll just keep this simple. We'll do we'll just do the 3-band this time. Let's see, 3-band. Let's do 3-band 600. And we'll make that the custom mode, but I think that's the custom mode by default. But let's go ahead and hop in there and do this. So if we take a look at the settings from that John Petrucci Mesa Boogie video, I'll pop them up in the screen here. You can actually see that what he's basically doing there is he's kind of creating that smiley-faced curve, long and short of it, between the output graphic equalizer on the unit itself and that his input section there. He's basically scooping it out. So I'm just going to follow his advice, and I mean, he should know better than the rest of us what he's doing, right? And I'll just do a basic scoop. Let's go ahead and let's see, take a look. We'll do 600 hertz is about roughly where I think that EQ is set at, but I'm not messing with the mids anyway, so who cares? So let's see where that gets us. Okay. All in all, it doesn't seem so bad. Post EQ, I'm going to pop in and basically do the same thing there. I won't even mess with it in this case. I'll just hop this up 2, and we'll hop this guy up to 2.0, and we'll just leave the rest of it the same way. And there you really start to hear that. Okay, not bad. Gate, we'll just set for noise floor only, is perfectly fine. We're not gaining this thing up. Modulation. So he definitely multi-tracked that thing with 2 sets of chorus. So let's go ahead and put the detune doubler on. But remember, our modulation is more than just a single modulation option. You can actually put in 2. So we're going to make that the custom mode, and then we're going to dive in. That's not bad though. But I always like to modify it because personally I like the detuned doubler to be a little less front of the mix. But you know what, for once, let's just leave it alone. Let's just leave it there. And we're going to set that second modulation. So we're going to add modulation to it, and we're just going to do stereo chorus. There we go. There we go. That's getting somewhere. Okay, echo. He does have echo enabled on there. We're just going to do single repeat. And because I did my homework before I shot this video, we know that I'll make that the custom mode. But let's just leave it. It's pretty light, and I like that. Okay, reverb. And since it's kind of that dreamy, ethereal kind of sound, let's just roll that right over to dreamy. And we'll see. And actually, I want to make this one custom because I'm going to stretch the decay time out on this a bit and make it just kind of last a little bit longer. So let's crank that up to say like 7 seconds or 6.2. And maybe we'll change the mix and make it a little more forward. Turn that level up a little bit. And there we have it. There's our A. So this is one of the few times where I'm not just going to take A and recreate A as the B preset, because obviously we get into the big distortion part there where we hop onto that back and pick up. Yeah, that's not going to work. So let's roll over to B, and we're starting from scratch in this case. So what do? Every time we go to gain, and I think this time we're going to have to turn this up a little bit. So let's crank that gain up. I don't know. I'm just going to make things up as I go. We'll do 52. And just like we do in real life, let's just audition different voices for this. So starting with clean is probably not it. Let's do warmer. It's kind of greasy. So what do we got for like chug? Nope. Heavy, gritty, bite. Thick chug. Well, that describes what we're trying to do. Let's go for it. That's getting us right in there. Okay, I like this. Let's take a look at our cab. Right on. And if we take a look again at the settings, one of the things that he really pointed out to us was that he liked, first off, he's using the Mesa Boogie speakers, which, if I'm not mistaken, are Celestion greenbacks, but I could be wrong about that. I probably am wrong about that. But I listening to them, that's kind of what they read as to me. Let me see. If I have options here, let's go with, well, thick doesn't sound all that bad. But let's try balanced as a start. And that's a bit chuggy, so the chug's a bit much. So rather than try to roll that off with EQ, we'll play with EQ in a second. Let's just roll up our low. So far, so good. That's not too shabby. All right, let's hop right in. I'm going to leave compressor off. He doesn't have a compressor on that screen that video that we were looking at, so why should we add one here? In this case, I'm going to go back to my favorite. I always do, the 4-band, 600 hertz. There we go, 4 kilohertz. That sounds pretty good. So that's our pre-EQ. So we're going to basically follow John Petrucci's formula, starting with. Boy, do I really want to leave my mids there. Let's turn the mids up a little bit. We'll just pick a number, and I want them to kind of press a little more of that mid-range and that chesty kind of upper mid. And let's see where we go. All right, hopping in there. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just shave out a little bit of low. I'm going to shave out quite a bit of low because I'm really trying to pump up the mid-range as I go into the amplifier section. So I'll back off a little bit of the highs, a little bit of the lows, and we'll just kind of try this out and see where we're going. And you can hear that chunky mid-range. Not bad. All right, let's head over to post EQ, and this is where we really dial in what we would see on the other side, that graphic EQ that they would typically put on there. So this is we'll use post 4-band just like we did before. Make this the custom mode, sure. And then what I'm going to do here is a little bit different. I'm going to take my mids and bump them down to 470 because I want to spread this out just a little bit more than I did. So I want to roll back that lower, punchier mid so I can get more of a chunk to it. All right, but I think I'm going to play a little bit with my highs. Rather than go all the way to 4K, I'm going to roll these back just all the way to 2. And I'll just leave it at 1. That's fine. So now let's go ahead and play with this a little bit. So lows, I'm actually going to turn up a little. I want a little more of that crunchy crunch. I'm going to dive some of my mid out, just like he had on his EQ, on his graphic EQ on the Mark IV. I'm going to turn the high up, and we're going to crank some presence to get some of that sizzle up on the top end. Gate, I'm going to have to crank this up to extreme gain. That's not too bad. All right, let's give this thing a crack, see what we can do with it. I'm not John Petrucci. You're going to have to download this preset and try this one on your own. So, okay, thank you for tuning in. I'll tell you what, down in the comments below, tell me what you want to do. What do you want to know? What can I show you? What can I teach you about building presets on the Elevate? We'll have down in the description, we'll have a link to how you can download this preset for John Petrucci for Pull Me Under. And tell me what you want to hear next. For JK Kim in South Korea, I just wanted to say kamsahamnida. Thank you so much, and see you guys on the next episode of Find Your Tone.